Rain chances continue and flooding issues are still possible. We'll break down your hourly forecast.
Coming up, it was a year ago that flooding damaged homes and roads across Harlan County. Hear from county officials who say they are still working to clean up the mess left behind.
Kentucky State Police say a woman was found dead in her driveway behind me. Coming up, I'm Marianne Fletcher in Pike County, and I'll have the details.
And what's going on with your tax returns?
We're not seeing a big decrease.
We break down why many of you have not just seen a decrease, but some might end up on the bad end with Uncle Sam.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News at 6.
The soggy weather will continue through tomorrow, and that is worrying some folks in low-lying areas. Chief Meteorologist Andrew Dockery begins our severe weather alert day coverage. Andrew?
Yeah, those clouds increasing pretty quickly here, Steve, as our system is working again. Right now, we've had a break in the rain, but some locations dealing with some dense fog. Let's take a look first. Whitesburg, clear as could be, cloud cover working in at this time. The National Weather Service camera, well, it's been foggy the entire day. And that fog is really a problem in some of these locations. Notice temperatures in the upper 40s to lower 50s. Visibility is reduced, especially as you work closer to Jackson and into portions up there near the northwest over towards Louisville. So rain work again. You'll notice most of that along Interstate 65. And we'll see rain here, Steve, in the next couple of hours and really continue overnight. We'll break down the full timing and everything you need to know coming up in a few short minutes.
All right, thank you, Andrew. As the rain fell today, some were reminded of flooding across eastern Kentucky exactly 1 year ago. Homes, businesses, and roads were damaged. That flooding was so bad that a presidential disaster declaration was declared in 22 eastern Kentucky counties. WYMT's Macy Marie went to Harlan County today, where officials say they are still cleaning up the mess left behind.
This was the scene in Harlan County a year ago.
One of the worst floods that we had since the '77 flood.
Water from nearby streams and rivers spilled into houses.
When we had the flood last year, it came up over the bank, it got in my daughter's house.
And it was not just homes that took a toll from the flooding. Many roads tore apart.
We had roads that had to be closed. We had numerous mudslide issues that impacted both state and county roads.
Farmers say the heavy rain cost them crops, too.
The garden, it didn't do too good last year.
A year later, and some problems did not wash away. Crews still work on areas throughout the county.
And in fact, we are still in the process of making repairs to areas that were impacted by that flood.
And bad weather kept hitting, with flooding again in June and plenty of rainfall throughout the year.
The weather, obviously, between February and this February has complicated our ability to get as many things done as we wanted to have gotten done.
Officials working on repairs as quickly as they can and hoping for drier days. In Harlan County, Macy Marie, WYMT Mountain News.
The county judge executive says Harlan County is certainly no stranger to flooding. Just last week, he declared a state of emergency for the county after a mudslide along Kentucky 72. Officials in Powell County are watching the rain closely as the Red River continues to rise. Emergency management crews tell us the river has risen much faster than they expected. That's leading to concern for low-lying areas, of course. They say some roads near the river will be water covered with the continuing rain. Officials say the Red River has risen more than 6 feet and could go even higher by tomorrow. And just a reminder, you can always find the latest weather conditions on the WYMT weather app. You can see live radar and zoom right into your neighborhood. You can also learn about warnings and advisories in your specific area. You can find it at the Apple and Google Play stores. We are learning new information about how U.S. Marshals found this man, Philip Lee Lewis, in Flint, Michigan Friday. Troopers say this is video of him last month at A&B Quick Stop in Knox County. It's just seconds before they believe he fired a gun, killing Gary Medlin. It happened during an attempted robbery. Today, from federal court documents, we learned they identified Lewis from fingerprints left on a drink at the store. He appeared in Michigan federal court today and agreed to be sent back to Kentucky. In addition to a murder charge in Knox County, Lewis faces a federal charge of being a convicted felon with a firearm. Also from those documents, we learned police have been looking for him since 2017 on a parole violation. Now, here's a strange part we also learned today. Philip Lewis is apparently an amateur rapper and recorded a YouTube video called Dropping Bodies several days after the murder in Knox County. In that song, he does talk about killing people. Police arrested a Letcher County man they say ended up on a hidden camera stealing a propane tank. Here is that video. The homeowner allowed us to show it to you. Police charged Brett McCown with second-degree burglary and 1 count of theft by unlawful taking. Deputies say when they caught up to McCown, they found the tank and returned it to the owner. The search is on for answers into a Pike County woman's death. Investigators found her Saturday outside her home in Johns Creek. WYMT's Marianne Fletcher talked to Michelle Smith's childhood friends.
A mother, daughter, and childhood friend. Saturday morning, Kentucky State Police found 44-year-old Michelle Smith dead in her driveway.
This started maybe in the house, led outside, and at some point a vehicle may have been used in this situation.
Now, all her friends and family have left are memories.
I had known Scotty Michelle literally since we were babies.
Denise Gooseland says she grew up with Smith.
We got into trouble as children running in the creek beds and typical childhood sassy girl stuff.
Her shock turned into a numbing feeling as more details surfaced.
How could someone do this to a child that's only 7 years old? Now no longer has her mother.
Kentucky State Police Trooper William Petrie says this type of case is mentally hard to investigate.
Well, it always would hit home, especially for the troopers and detectives that have children of their own. They know that those are the ones that pay the biggest price.
Another childhood friend, Heather Ellis, says it came as a surprise to find out a robbery might have played a role.
Because she was so trusting and so giving and so kind to people.
As they all wait for answers into what happened and pray for justice.
She didn't have to lose her life.
In Pike County, Marianne Fletcher, WYMT Mountain News.
Now, if you have any information about this death investigation, you're asked to call Kentucky State Police Post 9 at 606-433-7711. Perry County first responders got a call this afternoon that a car had crashed in the Buelling community. Officials with Post 13 say they arrived shortly after and were told a vehicle had flipped into a ditch line on 476. But when EMTs and police got there, no one was in or around the SUV. Police ran the tags to the car and found out who the vehicle belongs to, but at last check, they've had no contact with the owner. State police say they found hundreds of pills during a search warrant Saturday. Investigators arrested Melissa Hill. Troopers said when they asked her where the drugs were, she told them in a purse. The pills included oxycodone, Xanax, and Suboxone, among others. Police in Leslie County say they also found roughly $1,000. They charged Hill with drug trafficking. It's that time of year that can cause headaches for some. Tax season. From deadlines to deductibles, there's a lot you're going to need to remember when you file your taxes. There's also a lot of questions people have right now about why their refund may be smaller or what happens if there's another partial government shutdown. WYMT's Connor James helps break that down.
When you're looking at your tax return this year, you'll probably notice it's smaller.
And your refund changed $300 or $400.
At first glance, you might wonder, why this year? Well, there's a reason for it.
When we do see the decrease and you look at it, then you're seeing, well, hey, withholding decreased because the federal government, when they enacted the new tax laws, they did change the withholdings.
Jeffrey Holliday is a certified public accountant, or CPA. He says it's all based on withholdings. The new tax law signed at the end of 2017 changed how much you take home on your paycheck.
You know, incomes seem to be higher and withholdings seem to be less.
Essentially, that means you're paying less in taxes over the year.
You had $6,000 withheld in 2017. And only $5,000 in 2018.
So you've already got that money since your withholdings were less. It just came over the span of a year, not in one return.
So, Connor, what about this looming possibility of another partial government shutdown?
Steve, I talked with Mr. Holliday about that today. He doesn't seem too concerned, but says everyone at home might see some delays. Here's part of that conversation.
Based upon past experience talking with IRS agents, they start planning because they're considered non-essential government employees. And I would think that there's the potential to have some delay in refunds.
Basically, all it comes down to is whether the government deems them essential employees. If so, a handful would work to process tax returns, but there could be fewer employees doing that, Steve. That means everyone at home will be waiting longer before their return hits their bank account.
All right, Connor James in our newsroom, thank you. For nearly a month, we have tried calling officials in the city of Martin in Floyd County, including the mayor, without any luck. We wanted to ask them about an annexation proposal that's been getting a lot of attention over there. Many in Floyd County worry what that might mean for them. Those fears include tax increases. And finally tonight we're getting some answers. WYMT's Justin Case is following this and has more from Martin City Hall. Justin?
Steve, I was finally able to get in touch with an official from the Martin City Council. Now, what he tells me is that the annexation proposals will be rolled out in 3 separate phases. The first phase is to essentially annex all of the state roads around the city of Martin. Phase 2 is to annex all of the businesses along those state roads. And the third and final phase is to annex the people and the homes who live along those state roads. Now, ultimately, the goal of this is to increase tax revenue to the city of Martin. And some of the taxes that would be included in this that people would see for their homes, for their businesses, would be things like occupational taxes, insurance taxes, city taxes, property taxes, and business license taxes. And this is really a lot of the concern that people have living in those proposed areas.
We wouldn't have a vote on the mayor, we wouldn't have a vote on city council, but we would be taxed for what benefit we don't know. We're pretty confident, as Terry said, we're not going to get any. We're not going to have sewer, we're not going to have police protection, we're not going to have fire protection, yet we're going to be paying taxes for that, for this town. Obviously, we don't have anything.
And Steve, like you just heard there, these people in the affected areas in Left and Right Beaver and some of those communities, they're already paying for things like sewer, for water, for different kinds of protection, for emergency responders and things like that. So they're really not sure what they would get out of paying all the taxes to the city. Now, another thing this would affect is also the schools here. Now, there are 4 schools in Floyd County that would be annexed under this proposal, including the new Floyd Central School. And school officials say this would have a negative impact on teachers and other school officials, of course, that have to pay more in taxes. But we're going to have much more on this story tonight at 11. Steve?
All right, Justin, thank you. Most people with a drug addiction started abusing them after having a doctor's prescription. A chiropractic office in Mercer County is trying to shift those odds by getting high school students to see a chiropractor before taking prescription pain pills. Only 3% of kids nationwide use a chiropractor, so this office has teamed up with Mercer County high school varsity teams to give them free chiropractic care.
Now we don't have to talk about that at all. I mean, there's no issues with anybody having to take any medication. It's just, let's get a treatment.
By giving them that another route to seek out for health care, now they can come in here. We're not going to use pain pills, and we can get them out of discomfort and issues.
Tonight at 11, hear from Mercer County students on their new approach to treating pain.
Well, the rain continues to work in from the southwest to the northeast. We're tracking that rain as it's expected to increase tonight. Notice 51. That'll be around 11 o'clock. We'll tell you what the temperature will be when you wake up and those rain chances in about 3 minutes.
Plus, the latest developments after a man was found dead near the Kentucky-Tennessee line. Police believe it is suspicious.
When you see news happening, dial star 57. Our